Book or movie, movie or book. This one was close. Today we're doing another episode of A Book and a Show. And this one is over Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep or Blade Runner? Let's start off with a little bit of an introduction to what these two things are. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep was a book written by Philip K. Dick in 1968. The movie Blade Runner came out in 1982 and was directed by Ridley Scott. In the book and the movie, our two main characters are Richard Deckard and Rachel. In the book, Richard Deckard goes by Richard or Rick for like the whole book. And in the movie, he's called Deckard, just straight up Deckard. And in the book, we have a character named Isidore. He's a character that's called a chickenhead in the book. He hasn't scored as well on his IQ test, and so he can't do things like other people can. And I feel like he was intelligent, and maybe he just had some things that were lacking in him. And his character is kind of almost like a plot device, because later on in the book, he brings androids into his home. John Isidore provides like a safe house for the androids. The movie has a character named Sebastian, and he's pretty much Isidore's like counterpart. And as where like Isidore's intelligence is brought into question, Sebastian's character has a flaw in the movie of aging too quickly. And that is a theme within the movie that he connects with the androids over. But actually in the movie, they're called replicants. So we have these main characters in the book and in the movie. So the main plot to the book and the movie is that Richard Deckard, or just Deckard, is a bounty hunter. In the book, he's called a bounty hunter, and in the movie, he's called a Blade Runner. And he is supposed to take care of androids or decommission them on the planet Earth, because the androids are supposed to be built and put on Mars for the benefit of mankind. So in this story, people have moved off Earth and gone to Mars to begin to colonize it. In the book, it is because World War III happened. There were nukes, and it created this thing called the dust. And the dust started killing off animals first, and then eventually it started killing off humans. The humans that were strong enough survived the dust and continued to live, and then people moved off world to Mars if they were lucky enough, supposedly. And then in the movie, people just started moving off world. Maybe it does say like why people are moving off world. Maybe it's just because the Earth itself is just not that great anymore. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't catch that in the movie. And this is like the third time I've watched it, which is weird that I haven't caught that. If somebody knows, you can let me know in the comments. But I think it's just that we've evolved and we've gone to space to like see what's up out there in the movie. So these androids have been built to be kind of like slaves, if you will, on Mars. And some of them try to escape and go back to Earth. And it's Deckard's, I'm just going to refer to him as Deckard from here on out, that it's his responsibility to pretty much just kill them or decommission them, as he likes to call it, because he doesn't like to think of it as murder. He finds them, he tracks them down, and he takes them out. In the book, because it is a book and it has a little bit more time to manufacture story, you have this whole other story about Mercerism, which is a religion that, like, Isidore is very into, and that's a lot of his story, is he's like into this Mercerism stuff. And in the book, Isidore lives in apartments that are like in the suburbs by himself. Nobody else is there. Because everybody like clusters together in the books. Also in the book, there is a lot of storyline about animals. Because of the nuclear war that happened and the animals dying, a lot of them aren't on the earth anymore. They're just extinct. And it's a big deal to have alive, like a real life animal. It's almost like a status symbol, but at the same time, it makes people feel fulfilled. That's a big like theme in the book, is the feeling of fulfillment and empathy that humans have. And if you have like an animal, you want to, make sure that it's healthy, and you're trying to breed it because they're trying to bring the population back, I think is what they're trying to get at in the book. And the main character, Deckard, he has an electric sheep because he can't afford at the moment to have a real life animal. They're very expensive to have. And he had a sheep that was gifted to him by his father-in-law, I believe, when he left Earth and went to Mars. That sheep died, and he was able to get like an electric sheep to kind of like cover up the fact that it died, because, it's a status symbol. The theme of animals in the book is running throughout the whole thing, which is why the book is called what it is. He talks about his sheep a lot, especially at the start of the book and at the end of the book. And he's always talking about like how much do animals cost, and he's opening up this book that has like all the animals' costs in it, and that's a really huge theme of the book. Whereas in the movie, it's not there at all. And, I believe that that's actually a good thing in the movie. They took out this Mercerism stuff. They took out the animals because it would have led to a movie that was not as streamlined as it was, and not as fast paced. Because movies, you want them to, you want them to move. In the book and the movie, Deckard, he is tracking down these androids, or replicants as they're called in the movie. And it's very similar throughout the movie and the book. He's tracking them down, he's taking them out, and eventually, he finishes his job. And in the movie and the book, it's very different. We're going to start getting into spoilers now, so if you don't want spoilers, just stop watching. Because, this is again another book and a movie. I already told you, 1968, 1982, the year I was born. So from here on out, spoilers. Deckard's character begins to take out these replicants in the movie and in the book, and he has a lot of feelings. He has a lot of thoughts in both the movie and the book about like, what is humanity? Are these androids? Are they human? They have feelings and thoughts, apparently. And then there is the institution of the Voight-Kampff machine, which is supposed to tell you whether an android is an android or a human is a human. And it's like this test that he brings out, and he starts asking these questions. And these questions make more sense, I think, in the book than they do in the movie, because of the whole animal issue in the book. A lot of the questions are geared towards like, if your friend gave you a book that had a dog skin cover, how would you react? And like immediately the machine is supposed to like get measurements of like their bodies, the way that their body's reacting, the way that their pupils are reacting, things like that. And a human with empathy would be like appalled by the idea of having a gift given to them that was made that way. Whereas an android, they aren't supposed to have empathy, and that's where you can tell the difference between an android and a human. But these androids are becoming more and more human-like, and it takes Deckard many, 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 many questions when he tests these new androids. As Deckard makes his way through, he starts to learn more about these androids, and he learns more about himself. And at certain points in the movie and in the book, you start to wonder who is an android and who is human. And especially in the book, you are questioning for a little while whether Deckard himself is an android. You do that a little bit in the movie, and I get that a lot of people see that a lot more than I did, but it's made more clear in the book that you're really supposed to question who is human and who is an android. So as you're going throughout the book and the movie, you're starting to wonder about all these different things about humanity. And I think that that's a huge issue with this, or that's a huge thing in this book and this movie. And they're both just wonderfully done, I think. So I'm going to get into my likes and dislikes of both mediums. So I actually like the plot in the book and the movie pretty much equally. Because there's a lot of similarities. The movie is just pared down. I would say that the plot is expanded upon within the book, obviously, and that there's some things like the animals and the mercerism. And the mercerism is a religion almost. Like, you hold on to this box called an empathy box, and you're able to see through other people's eyes and feel their feelings. And I thought that was a really cool concept. It was just very ephemeral, and it was hard to like grasp exactly what was going on with it, because like people would throw stones at you like while you're in this like mind space, and you'd come out of it with actual like cuts and stuff on you once you like released the box, which I was trying to grasp that, and it was hard for me to grasp. But either way, I like the plot in both the book and the movie. Characters, I loved all the characters in the book and the movie. Isidore, he was fine in the book. It's just, I really had a hard time thinking of him as a lower intelligence human, because his own thoughts were, they felt like regular human thoughts. They felt like thoughts that I would have every day. Maybe he was a little bit slower with them, but it just didn't seem like he was lacking in any way, even though I kept on being told that he was lacking. All the other characters I thought were wonderful, and I thought that the movie really brought them to life. The world building in the book and the movie I thought was fantastic. I think Ridley Scott did a great job adapting the source material of the book, whereas in the book he took a lot of time explaining stuff about mercerism and the animals, which I actually liked the animal part more than I liked the mercerism stuff. I just thought the mercerism stuff was slightly confusing. And the animals made sense, where, everybody wants to have an animal so that they can continue their population, things like that, maybe make the earth like it was once again. I think that that's always a good theme to have, that this world needs healed. I thought the movie did a good job of world building without those things, and you had like that noir feeling within the book and the movie, but like the movie really brought it out with the color palette, like the darkness of the movie with like the neon lights everywhere, and like it really made it feel super sci-fi and super like noir. You had Harrison Ford doing a great job like filling the role of Deckard. And I think that one thing that I really liked in the world building of the movie was the change in all of the wording. Whereas in the book, Richard Deckard went by Richard, and Rick, he went in the movie as Deckard. And I don't know why I like that better. I just did. And then you have the word android used for all of the, robot people. Whereas in the movie, they're called replicants. I think Ridley Scott did a great job with like changing words. And then obviously the word Blade Runner, just so cool. Like, what a word. Because in the book, it's called, he's just a bounty hunter. And that's, blah. Whereas Blade Runner, super cool. And I'm a sucker for cool words. So in that aspect, I think Ridley Scott did a great job in world building. The writing in the book was, pretty good. I liked it. I mean, it did what it had to do. I mean, it wasn't like too flowery or anything like that. It was just very, it got you the information, and it was just, it was enough. And the pacing for the book, I thought was a little bit off because of the Mercerism stuff, the stuff with Isidore. And I just thought that, because I've seen the movie a few times, the streamlinedness of the movie made it pop more for me. And I think that the end, especially for each medium, really is where the difference is for me when I'm going to come eventually and rate this, is each one of these things. Is the ending in the book seemed a little drawn out for me. And it's because in the movie, he is chasing down all these replicants, and eventually he gets to like the big bad Roy Batty. And they have this fight, but the whole time the replicant is talking to him. And it's almost like a beautiful scene. It really is. It's a beautiful scene between the two, where you kind of like see Deckard's humanity, and then you see the replicant's humanity, and that they're not that different, and that we all that have like this sense of life just want it to continue, and we want it to mean something. And you really had that shown to you in the movie.
All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain.
Whereas in the book, the fight between Deckard and the replicants was just kind of like a thing that happened, and then he went on with his life and back to his wife, because in the book he actually has a wife, whereas in the movie he doesn't. And he goes back to his wife and he continues to live life. And it's more about like him just struggling to like piece together what had just happened to him. Whereas in the movie, it's just, you're seeing it all play out before your eyes, and then it's over. And then you have a lot of questions and thoughts afterwards. My overall enjoyment of the book and the movie, I really enjoyed reading the book. There were things in it that I didn't feel were very necessary. I also am a 12-year-old, I've found out, and I'm glad that they didn't use this terminology in the movie at all. Whenever Deckard is tracking down an android in the book, he looks over his poop sheet. And at first, because I was listening to this on Audible, I was like, is that really what they're saying? And yes, it was. And, people just had different words back in 1968 that they were using. And that the sheet was all the information of the android itself. Whereas in the movie, he gets like these little videos and files and things like that. And never once did they use that word. And every time that the guy would say it while I was listening to it, I'd give a little giggle like a 12-year-old. So there was enjoyment in that. I don't know why. I just am who I am, I guess. And I just really enjoyed the book to a point. Whereas I think that Blade Runner, the movie, is just classic. I think it's wonderful. It makes you think the whole time. The symbolism in it is beautiful. And I think that the movie is actually a little bit better, if I have to say it. This one, the movie wins out. And I'm giving the book, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, 4 gnomes out of 5. And I'm giving the movie, Blade Runner, 4.5 gnomes out of 5. So there you have it. I actually like a movie better. And I wasn't exactly expecting that, but I had kind of a feeling going in that that might happen because I have liked Blade Runner for a long time, just haven't watched it in a while. So I got enjoyment out of both of them. I think that just the movie is just so well done. It's gorgeous. And I thought that the acting was really well done in the movie by Sean Young playing Rachel and Harrison Ford playing Deckard. And just the way that Ridley Scott built the world was amazing. So there you have it. The movie wins. I hope you guys enjoyed this little thought process on both the movie and the book. So have fun, keep reading, and have a magical day.